So this drawing is inspired by the card for the zodiac sign of Aries. And we are going to be creating trees of power for ourselves. So we're going to start by making a line across the middle of our paper. And the way that I like to do that is to eyeball where I think the middle is over on one side, where I think the middle is over on the other side, and then lightly connect those two with a line. It's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be. So this is going to be our ground. In this picture, kind of our horizon line, because we are going to be drawing above and below, thinking about the concept of power. That is what the Emperor teaches us about, and so much of what Aries season is about. So we're going to start by drawing a tree, and I want it to be a strong tree, an old, thick tree. So I'm thinking about maybe like a third of the line, and I'm going to make a curving line to give the trunk of the tree some width. And then I'm going to let those lines curve out and up to create the branches of the tree. So the branches of the tree and all of their thickness would equal the thickness of the trunk of the tree. So that's something that does not have to be perfect, but can be interesting to think about when feeling the weightiness, feeling how your tree seems to grow. So I'm letting my branches curve off of each other. And if your tree looks nothing like mine, that's wonderful, because that's how trees are. And where the branches meet somewhere in the middle, I'm letting them curve into each other. And I'm letting them go in different directions. Again, imperfectly, tree-like, and then also our own creation. I like creating some kind of center to my tree. It feels like a heart, some kind of curving that can then go into the almost fabric of the bark. So letting those lines come naturally, finding the curves, maybe adding a little bit more width and weight to some of my branches as they go up. Okay, now I'm going to start on my roots. So my root system, I want to have the same weightiness as my branches. So my roots come in almost a mirror image of the branches above, curving and finding a connection to the trunk. The Emperor asks us to come into a relationship with what power means to us. What does it mean to exercise power? What does it mean to have agency? Power in our world is oftentimes something that is done unto us, done unto others. We live at the mercy of the power of the billionaire class. Power has become something quite negative that we see wreaking havoc. And so how can we reclaim power in a completely different understanding of that word? How can we be in power with? How can our power be dependent on our environment, like a tree who lives with the other trees, and then who also is a home for animals, for whole microcosms? How can we too understand our power to be that generous? Okay, so this is a rough understanding of what I was imagining for our trees. And the ground space, it's both underneath, and then in places it kind of feels like the roots enter the ground, maybe somewhere closer to me. So this line can grow and fade or change as you see fit. And I'm gonna come in now with a pen, because that is how I like to stage the next part of my mark making. I like creating a permanent line, and then I also enjoy finding the positive and negative spaces. So finding some areas of dark and areas of light. Again, that is my mark making. And I try and really not use my eraser. You see me doing it here for the first time. As much as you can, let yourself create without going back in and erasing. You don't need to honor every line, but give yourself the permission to trust what your hand makes when it makes it. So like I said, I'm going to come in with a pen and go over what I drew. And then I'm going to come in with some color. If you would prefer to go straight to color, that can be really beautiful as well. So this is the tree that I ended up creating in our art circle space that I wanted to share. I'm just finishing it up. And this is where, for this next 2-ish week period, I am going to be capturing the moments where I practice power. So today, as an example, I led my dear friend in a yoga class, and I used the tarot cards that I pulled for the day to base the class around. And that is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but felt like I didn't have some piece of missing information, some experience or knowledge yet. And today I did it anyway. And so that felt like a way I used my power. So I'm going to choose a place. I'm going to use this pen that I love because it's permanent, so I can go over it in watercolor. And I'm going to write that. And then down here, I'm going to write where that power originated from. So giving myself the space to reflect on all that built that ability, that expression of power. So the history, the stories, the practice, the preparation that let me express power in that way. So over the course of these next 2 and a bit weeks, I'm going to fill this in, and then I'm going to color this bottom part with the colors of the earth, imagining this as below, and then this part with colors of the sky and greens like the leaves of a tree. So this is our creation for this month, these trees of power.